Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. Drop in the chat where you are tuning in from today. I'm so excited for today's session. Hello, Brianna, joining us from California. Isabel from Chile. Karina from Florida. I'm also in Florida. I'm in Orlando. Hawaii, I am very jealous. New York, Los Angeles, Austin, Texas. Another Mexico, California, Seattle. I love to see it. We got people from all over. I'm super excited for today's session. Happy Thursday, everyone. Today, we are going to be talking all about unlocking smarter marketing and overcoming wasted spend and attribution gaps. We have some amazing experts joining us today so that you can level up your brand and hear from these industry experts. After today's session, you are going to have a much clearer idea of how your brand can make smarter marketing decisions that puts honestly more money in your pockets and reduces unnecessary spend, which I'm sure we all want. We have an amazing lineup of speakers joining us today. You're going to be hearing from Jacob from Heatmap, Janet from Rebuy, Thamana from Triple Whale, Seb from Clear.io, Ben from Postpilot, SJ from Just Uno, and Ryan from Logical Position, a chef's kiss star-studded cast. And have no fear, everyone. Today's session is going to be recorded. The link will be sent out to everyone after the webinar today. So if there is anything that you miss or you want to pause and rewind and hone in a little bit, we have the recording that will be sent out to everyone. And that's not all, though. For anyone who is familiar with whale watching, y'all already know about this. But for anyone, if this is your first time joining, we like to shake things up and spice things up here at Triple Whale's whale watching webinars. So we want to reward you for all of your time that you take out of your day to attend today's session. We have some amazing giveaway items courtesy of our fabulous speakers that y'all have a chance to win. And if you're wondering how you can be one of the lucky ducks to take home one of those fabulous prizes, here's the secret. The key to winning is just by being engaged in the chat. I am quite literally just blindly scrolling through the chat to choose the winner. So that means the more messages you're sending, the more engaged you are, the likelier it is for you to take home one of those giveaway prizes. And plus, it's just fun. The vibes are always so amazing when we're all just like yapping together in the chat and discussing all of the amazing points that our speakers present on today. So it's just a good time, and I'm excited for today's session. So with that said, we are going to go ahead and jump right in. First, joining us up on the stage, we have Jacob, Head of Agency Partnerships from Heatmap. Hello, Jacob. Welcome. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me, Mia. Pleasure to meet everybody. Obviously, I can't see all of you, but I know you can see me. I'm really excited to be here.
Absolutely. Go ahead and pull up your screen, Jacob, and the stage is all yours. Take it away.
Awesome. Everybody can see? Should be good, right? Head nods. Cool. Awesome. Well, pleasure to meet everybody. My name is Jacob, Head of Agency Partnerships here at Heatmap. Really excited to be joining everybody today and walking through some of the ways just using general heat map technology in addition to heat map, like our platform, how to overcome wasted ad spend and attribution gaps, particularly in the e-commerce ecosystem. So I'm going to jump right in. So getting started, if I can move my screen, boom. Why should you listen to me besides the fact that I'm up here first and have the pleasure and the curse of going first here, and you kind of have to sit here and listen to me. We're going to be walking through a variety of different things today. First and foremost, learning how brands are using heat map to find hidden revenue and boost sales on their website through real stories and real results. Kind of go through like what's working and the why behind it to give a little bit of context. Additionally, going to be walking through a couple different examples of smarter site fixes with our heat map AI, which takes the guesswork out of having to do CRO. CRO is admittedly a bit of a hard space. There's a lot of tricky things, and we're taking all of the guesswork out of that and making it easier for marketing teams to get instant results with this. And then finally, quick and easy tips to get more conversions, drive more revenue today, just by listening to me talk for about 10 minutes. So hopping right in. I will step back for a quick second. For those of you who don't know Heatmap, haven't seen us in the ecosystem, haven't seen us doing webinars like this in the past, the TLDR is we are the only heat map on the market that tells e-commerce brands how to make more money. We are quite literally making the jump and bridging the gap between on-site analytics and tying revenue to every single pixel on your website. So you can finally optimize based off of buying behavior and actual behavioral analytics instead of just site traffic, instead of just clicks. We are very fortunate to be working with a wide variety of pretty notable e-commerce brands, some of which happen to be on the screen here. There's a lot that aren't. If you have any questions on some of the brands we're working with, some of the ins and outs, how it works after all of this, hit me up. There's going to be a QR code at the end of the presentation. Would love to chat with you guys. So, what is heat map? What's the TLDR? Essentially, we're a really powerful analytics tool that is basically designed to help optimize your website and drive more revenue. Unlike a variety of other players in the space, we go beyond just looking at clicks and page views and what traffic is getting dumped onto XYZ pages. And we're able to tie revenue impact of every single element on your site back to these user behaviors. So, what's unique about it, we're basically giving you quantitative data on what's driving revenue and what's losing revenue, and optimization recommendations for here's what to tweak, here's what to move up or down, take out of the site, add into the site, to make sure that you can convert on new buyers, first time buyers, third time buyers, right? And progress people through the journey of how they interact with your brand, if you're a brand directly. So, how do we do this? A couple different varieties or flavors to how to do it. We have revenue based heat maps, revenue based screen recordings, revenue based scroll maps. I know I said those out of order, and then heat map AI. So, the TLDR on these revenue based heat maps giving you really, really granular quantitative data on every single element of your website, literally from the header down to the footer, every single box down to the iframe, and giving you a variety of different e-commerce metrics like sessions, purchases, revenue, average order value, conversion rate, which is not global. It's the conversion rate of that element during a specific period of time, looking at a specific amount of people, and basically giving you these granular level insights to be able to kind of move things around of what's working, what's not. The scroll maps are great for identifying which sections of your website are doing well and which sections aren't. Most brands have a very high drop off below the fold, where people stop to engage, stop clicking on specific elements and ultimately lose interest. It's a great way to be able to leverage heat map to understand what those areas of your website are and what can be moved up and down to drive a little bit more conversions. And then screen recordings is really for jumping in and drilling deep into user behavior and watching exactly what your best customers are doing on site, and then identifying areas of drop off, right? For the customers that don't purchase or get stuck in a specific loop or get halfway through like a building your package sort of thing, and then they end up leaving, what's causing that and what can you do on those specific pages to increase the actual conversion rate. And finally, like I mentioned, on the AI side of the house, basically going through and providing specific recommendations on a quantitative and a qualitative basis for what you need to do, low hanging fruit to move things around to increase these metrics. Basically, drilling down on trillions of owned data points and upwards of 4 billion in spend that we've processed over the last 10 to 15 years being in the space. So I know I threw a ton at everybody there. I'll kind of grow into a little bit more granularity here pretty quickly. So before I get into that, for those of you who know heat map and have seen heat map in some of the internals, this past Monday, I want to say on the 24th or whenever I was a detail, time is a bit of an illusion at this point. We launched a 2.0 new UI refresh. So quickly, what does this mean? Basically, heat map 2.0 was smarter and faster. Brand new UI, easier to navigate, fresh intuitive experience, 4 times faster loading heat maps to save you time, your marketing team's time on timed activation, faster onboarding, right? If you're able to get in there and be getting recommendations and insights on what's working on your site quicker than you did before, that's great because time is of the essence. And then smarter tracking for increased insights and accuracy and reliability for said heat maps. So we're going to keep diving in here. Why is all this valuable for marketing teams, and like what are you going to take away from today? Basically, the TLDR is being able to maximize revenue with smarter insights. A lot of success in the e-commerce space really drives or is driven by data-driven optimizations, and we're able to give you really, really valuable insights into how users are actually interacting with your site and how that affects revenue. Basically, spanning that gap, like I talked about, of it's great to understand where clicks are and what traffic is getting driven to what pages and what's the most clicked element. But if you don't have the granular level insights into what's actually driving revenue, what's driving conversions, and how are these elements on the page actually influencing said behavior, it's going to be kind of hard to make those connections. So with heat map, be able to go through and track user behavior and tie that to revenue through the AI-powered recommendations, like I mentioned. That's kind of the low-hanging fruit if you don't have an internal team or you don't have an agency you're working with that's very skilled in CRO. You can leverage that. Ultimately, at the end of the day, giving you faster decisions and better results by identifying problem areas of your site and going through and specifically making recommendations on what to change to increase those metrics. So, a couple of things I talked about: revenue-based heat maps. Basically, the key takeaway here is using the data that you already own, that your customers are giving to you in terms of how they interact with your site, to identify high areas of revenue on the website and then optimize the low performing ones. What makes them different? I don't know if you guys can see this, it's a little bit small, but this add to cart product button here on the right that I'm hovering over, giving you basically 100% accurate tracked revenue impact for every clickable element on the site. So this could be buttons, this could be images, this could be links, this could be dynamic content, which I'll get to in a second. And it allows you to visualize the actual purchase count, total revenue, revenue per click, revenue per session, conversion rate, to basically understand element by element, page by page. This is what's working, this is what's not, and why is that? Is it because it's too far down on the page? Is it because this is a completely hidden element where it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for it to be where it is? We'll get into a lot of this stuff. Um, but a great example, it's not going to be based off the screenshot, but we see all the time through brands that work with us directly and agencies we work with, where specific sizing based elements on the website to get you into a backpack or a coat or some sort of garment where you have to interact with the sizing first before you can actually purchase that item is usually not in the space that it needs to be. It's buried on the individual page. People have to scroll to it to find, understand how they size themselves. And we often see that these elements have incredibly high engagement rates and revenue per session, where it needs to be bumped up to the actual product variants or the sizing portion of said page to make sure that it's an incredibly easy buying experience of cool, I need to size this item. How do I size myself? Great. What size works for me? And ultimately go to purchase. So just a quick example there. The AI powered recommendations that I chatted about, basically your CRO recommendation engine, uh, basically is leveraging AI to recommend quick and effective improvements to your site, driving higher conversion rates and engagement. A couple of different examples of what this could be. On the quantitative side of the house, this could be, hey, we've got a mini collections page on my homepage that's showing 4 to 6 images. Reorder in this specific order. So this could be like product, 3, 2, 1, 5, 6, based off of revenue per session. That's going to bring you the elements that are driving the most amount of revenue higher on the page to increase the total ARR. This could be qualitative recommendations of your hero image is way too big. It's basically putting the call to action below the fold, and customers are having to scroll a little bit further down to be able to do anything, right? There's going to be automatically identified elements that need optimization that we're calling out your top visited pages. So this is like the low hanging fruit stuff to chop in and basically on a weekly basis go and identify what's working, what's not. Real life example of this that I wanted to show you guys. Jollibee is a customer of ours that started working with Heatmap and identified a pretty big issue that Heatmap had revealed around a major drop off in engagement below the fold on their homepage. They received an AI powered recommendation that suggested adding a human element into the hero image, which is right here on the bottom right. And they made the change, basically swapped out a product only image for a middle aged woman holding the supplement, which is their primary demographic in their audience, and saw instant results in terms of almost a 25% lift in conversion rate, 31% lift in return on ad spend, and then almost a 14.5% increase in revenue per session on average for that page, which ultimately leads to a huge bump in ARR for them, which is just a quick little example of like how easy it can be to leverage these revenue-based insights on your actual website that typically you wouldn't be able to see anywhere else. One thing that I mentioned earlier on the dynamic element side of the house is a often, I'd say, overlooked aspect of e-commerce that once somebody comes to your site and they've identified that they don't want to purchase the item that they're looking at, you've got about 2 seconds to convert them. What's the first thing that they're going to go to? The menu, the mobile navigation, the mega menu, whatever you want to call it. And we see time and time again that agencies and brands alike don't spend enough time understanding how visitors are engaging with the mobile navigation of the menu and how that impacts getting them into additional products. Great thing you can do on heat maps interactive mode, which basically allows you to engage with dynamic elements and track user engagement and conversion for those menus, for those product carousels that typically you wouldn't be able to load heat maps on. And it is a great value add in terms of understanding how to quick or more quickly get consumers from homepage to navigation to an additional product to help convert them. Basically, the 2.0, we've got this enhanced reliability for works with more stores totally out of the box just the first time with said change. Moving on, comparison mode. What is this? Why should you care? Key takeaway here, basically segmentation of your audience for better targeting and personalization content for each group is going to basically end up driving more relevant conversions. Great example of this is the ability with Heatmap to compare two different audiences, cohorts, whatever you want to call it, in real time on your website. So it's a little bit hard to see here, but this could be things like A/B and split testing different segments or cohorts of individuals. This could be different people across different time zones or geographies, new versus returning users. This one is non-purchasers versus purchasers, and understanding how they interact with elements by elements on the website and how those experiences differ and what you should do to change basically the base experience to make sure that you can convert more buyers the first time. I love that call out, Nathan. A/B test everything. Absolutely on point. Great example of this is agents partner of ours that we love working with, That Works Agency. They've got a client that's going to remain nameless at the moment, but they identified there was a huge UX issue on this client's website that operates in the retail space for general clothing. Basically, users who engaged with the filter they had identified spent 3 times more than users that didn't, but they struggled to access it here in V1 because it wasn't sticky. They used heat maps, revenue tracking, and session recordings to identify that the filter placement was the thing that was causing the actual drop off in engagement. Ran an A/B test to make the sticky or the filter sticky here on the top right in V2 for better visibility, and then saw massive revenue growth. So on average, 13% increase in total revenue just by making this small change, right? Which typically you wouldn't think would have a massive impact on the bottom line, but it does. Key takeaway here, obviously one thing that typically gets overlooked is like I mentioned, the interactive site elements, the dynamic content that directly impacts revenue in a way that is very quantifiable, but typically overlooked. Using heat map or just general CRO tactics of test everything like people have called out is incredibly impactful to the bottom line and smarter CRO improvements moving forward. So I know I've thrown a ton at you. I've spoken at you for about 10 minutes. Going to open it up for questions. If you have anything that you want to, call out, feel free to drop it in the chat, scan the QR code. I'd love to chat with you guys.
Such a fabulous presentation, Jacob. Thank you so much. I would definitely love if you stay after a few minutes and answer some of the questions in the chat, because so many folks had so many amazing pieces of feedback around heat map and the product, and also some questions around functionality. So overall, fantastic presentation. And before I let you go, everyone, we're going to go ahead and do the giveaway for heat map. So they are giving away a heat map hat. Mouthful for one lucky winner. So let's go ahead and scroll through and choose our giveaway winner. Congratulations, Lorna Ladd. You are taking home some heat map swag today. Love that for you. Beautiful. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jacob, and we will see you soon.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, friends, we're going to keep things rolling. So joining me up on stage next is Janet from Rebuy. Janet is the team lead of Strategic Merchant Success. Hello, love. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing fabulous, even better now that you're here. So why don't you go ahead and pull up your screen, my dear, and the stage is all yours. Beautiful. Take it away.
Amazing. Thank you. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started. So again, hi everyone. Super excited to be here today. I'm Janet Gomez, team lead for merchant success at Rebuy. I work closely with brands to help them unlock the full potential of personalized shopping experiences increase conversions and maximize their marketing ROI. Today, we're going to be tackling such a major challenge that a lot of e commerce brands are facing, which is overspending on marketing without seeing the return. So, I'm going to be walking you through how Rebuy can help bridge that gap by connecting marketing to on site merchandising, optimizing smart cart experiences, and using A/B testing to refine strategy. So, my goal for today is for you to leave with some actionable insights that you can apply to your brand immediately. And you're going to be able to see like a few of the light agenda items that I'd like to cover. Now, what is the problem? So, a big issue is that brands are wasting ad spend due to poor on site experiences, and attribution gaps make it hard to connect marketing to revenue. So, why Rebuy? Well, Rebuy turns wasted ad spend into revenue by connecting marketing to personalized shopping experiences. But what does that even mean? So, personalization is the practice of delivering engaging and unique shopping experiences for each unique shopper. Now, that personalization is aiming to deliver relevant and tailored product recommendations or offers that drive engagement and ultimately conversions. And it's proven to improve metrics such as AOV, LTV, and so much more. Now, to really think about and prove the value of personalization, I wanted to call out a few really insightful statistics. 78% of consumers expect brands to deliver personalized shopping experiences, and 40% more revenue is generated by brands that offer personalized shopping experience compared to those who do not offer any. So I'm going to let that sit with you for a second. And what's the answer? So data, personalization, and a seamless journey. Now, in the next couple of slides, we're going to be addressing how Rebuy's personalization widgets or features can really help you. Now, Rules Engine plus Rebuy Analytics. So, Rebuy's Rules Engine empowers you as a brand to create very custom rule sets that are simple or as complex as you want them to be. So, for example, sometimes I'll see brands that have rule sets that only have two rules, and others have really gone on to create rule sets with 10 plus rules that ensure the ultimate personalized experience. And we can boast up to 30 plus rules that can be pretty much manipulated to create a back-end rule set that tells each widget or features what products to recommend. So a few of those examples of rule sets can be AI powered endpoints, and we can also tap into existing Klaviyo segments to recommend customer specific products. So Rebuy is analyzing the customer behavior to drive insights so that you can optimize your promotions and then balance personalization with a seamless shopping experience. Now, data sources. So in this data source example, we're showcasing a Rebuy customer who has implemented a complete the look widget on their PDP. Now, the brand has leveraged a couple of rules here. For example, they've tapped into exclusion rules to exclude specific products that they don't want surfacing in their widget. And then they've used, in this example, a very simple product rule to surface 1 to 4 specific products that they want to showcase to the customer. But this can go beyond that because, maybe this is somebody that has had their tattoo for a couple of years and they just need maintenance program versus maybe this is somebody coming from a specific traffic source because they just got their first tattoo, and we can start curating that customer journey. Now, Rebuy offers several different widgets that you can tap into leverage on your product pages. So, a few examples: cross sell widgets, dynamic bundles. We saw an example of a complete the look offer. And then, of course, all of these widgets, we can recommend very specific products based on product tags, top sellers, AI, and then we can also couple that with dynamic messaging, discounts, customer ratings, and reviews. So we want to make sure, and the biggest point here is that marketing doesn't have to stop at the ad. It has to connect with that on-site experience. So we want to have a very seamless transition from ad to site to checkout, and then reduce those drop-offs and improve conversions. Here we have a few of some really cool examples of PDP widgets that you can use. So for example, dynamic bundles, pop-ups. A personal favorite of mine is the pop-up offer in the upper right-hand corner, which features a subscription upsell. So this is surfacing immediately after customers click the add to cart button for 1 minute, and it's meant to help increase the number of subscriptions and lift LTV. I also love the fact that it really does educate the customer in terms of like what the benefit is of a subscription. And then we can see an example of a dynamic bundle widget where you could incorporate, as an example, 10% discount for customers who add 2 or more items. Smart links. So one of the other biggest gaps that I continuously see in e-com marketing is disconnecting ad spend from on-site merchandising. And then why is that a problem? Because if brands are running ads for specific products, but when customers click, they're landing on a home page or a generic collection page, it just causes friction and drop-offs and simple just confusion. So with smart links, you can eliminate that friction by driving customers directly to the most relevant on-site experience. So you can connect them to the buying journey, tighten your funnel, and create a seamless shopping experience with pre-filled, pre-configured, and personalized URLs that can be used to, as an example, add a custom banner message to promote sales or offers, or drive traffic to any page on the on-site customer journey. They can also be included in QR codes. And why is this critical? Well, it's going to eliminate wasted ad spend, and it shortens that customer buying journey. So fewer clicks and higher conversion rates. Smart cart and A/B testing. So it's important to know, in this specific example, I'm going to be focusing on A/B testing specific to the smart cart, but we do have A/B testing available for every feature and widget and on-site experience. This is super cool because you'll be able to A/B test different cart versions and optimize conversion rates and revenue, and continuously being able to iterate. You can also A/B test a smart cart versus a non-rebuy cart to ensure that all smart cart features are functioning as expected. And there's a few cool features like scheduling tests to start and stop when you want. Really love this example. Here we're showcasing A/B testing example that shows how a rebuy customer is split testing their checkout extension. So in version 1, we can see that they are surfacing recommendation based on rebuy AI endpoint. And then version 2 is surfacing products based on AI recommendations and products under $50. So we can see that the version 1 of the test is performing slightly better with a 50.58% conversion rate and an 80.07 in revenue per user. Reorder landing pages. So if you're looking to improve retention and extend LTV, definitely use reorder landing pages. So this allows you to create custom landing pages that make it easy to reorder the product you know and love, while also discovering new products. We have easy functionality like switch to subscription, free shipping, and we can also implement the reorder landing pages into email and SMS strategies with best-in-class integrations like Klaviyo and Attentive. So key takeaways, and wanting to call out some important things to know today is use data to drive promotions to know what actually works for your customers, integrate ads and on-site experiences to reduce those drop-offs, and then leverage smart tools like reorder landing pages and smart links. And yeah, I know I had a lot to also throw at you all, but yeah, super excited for a quick chat.
Amazing presentation, Janet. I think you summed it up so well that personalization really is key. And I loved all of the different examples that you gave to really drive that, to make that possible for brands and to really deliver that one-to-one experience for their customers and their consumers. Before I let you go, we're going to go ahead and choose your giveaway winner today. So, everyone, courtesy of Rebuy, they're giving away a $75 Visa gift card. So, I'm going to scroll on through. And our winner today is Nathan Cheney. Congratulations, Nathan. You are taking home a gift card courtesy of Janet and the Rebuy team. Amazing. Thank you so much, Janet. We will chat soon. Beautiful. Okay, friends, we are going to keep on going. Joining us on stage, we have our very own tech partner manager from Triple Whale, Damina. Welcome to the stage, my love.
Hello, guys. Thank you so much, Mia. How is everyone today? So once again, can you guys see my screen actually before I even begin?
Yep, you're good to go, love. The stage is all yours.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So hello, everyone. Once again, I'm Thamana Bawa, one of the tech partner managers here at Triple Whale. I'm excited to be here today, and I'm thrilled to dive into the record-breaking year that we just witnessed. So before we dive in, there's probably a question I should answer. What even is Triple Whale? So Triple Whale is a game changer for e-commerce businesses. And at its core, it's a comprehensive analytics platform that consolidates the most critical metrics and attribution data into one easy-to-use dashboard. So instead of bouncing between tools or struggling to piece together fragmented data, Triple Whale serves as the ultimate source of truth, giving you the clarity and confidence you need to make better business decisions. And I'm sure there's people in the chat who have had to go into multiple different platforms that they're using, look at all of the analytics, kind of bounce back and forth. That takes up so much time. So Triple Whale is a good solution to that. Triple Whale seamlessly integrates with the platforms that you already use to pull in data that actually matters to your business. And on top of that, we leverage e-commerce specific AI to not just provide insights, but also uncover actionable opportunities to optimize your performance. So whether it's discovering your top performing channels, better understanding customer behaviors, or even improving your ROAS, Triple Whale ensures you're looking at the data points that truly impact your bottom line. And we are proudly the source of truth for over 30,000 Shopify and Shopify Plus brands, ranging from small businesses to large-scale enterprises. Our platform has become an essential tool for e-commerce businesses across a wide variety of industries, helping them unlock their full potential and achieve remarkable growth. And in fact, we've also actually just started working with shops on BigCommerce and WooCommerce too. So brands like Milk Bar, Doe Lashes, Avi, and Portland Leather Goods are just a few of the examples of companies that we work with. And if you want to learn more about their success or explore other brands that have used Triple Whale, we actually have a whole section of case studies on our website. So I encourage you to take a look at that too. Now, the e-commerce community has been on a bit of a roller coaster over the past few years with plenty of highs and lows. From the pandemic driving a record-breaking surge in online shopping, to a breakdown in supply chains, to inflation, rising costs, and shifts in consumer behavior, and everything in between. If I've missed anything, please put it in the chat. Brand owners have needed to stay agile and adaptable to be successful. Global e-commerce sales continue to grow, with total retail e-commerce sales expected to surpass $8 trillion by 2027. And as the revenue climbs for e-commerce, so does the funds devoted to ad spend. 2024 had a surge in digital advertising spend and surpassed $1 trillion globally for the first time, which represented a 9.5% increase compared to 2023. So in this webinar, I'm going to break down some ad performance metrics for Triple Whale brands in 2024, including average order value, spend by ad channel, cost per acquisition by industry, and overall ad performance metrics by channel. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to drop them in the chat. All right, so let's talk about understanding AOV by industry and how it varies by industry. So to start, let's look at the industries with the highest AOV, and these include computers, home and garden, health and beauty, office products. And these industries tend to see higher or average order values because customers are making larger or more expensive purchases in these categories. Next, we have industries with a middle range AOV, such as fashion accessories and pet supplies. Now, these industries typically see moderate order values as they involve repeat purchases and varying price points. These industries benefit from upselling and cross-selling to increase the average order value. And finally, the industries with the lowest AOV are digital products and books. Now, these items are often priced lower, leading to a smaller AOV. And these industries should focus on ways to increase average order values by pushing loyalty programs and bundling to obtain more revenue per purchase. Understanding this data is essential for optimizing pricing strategies, bundling products, and increasing revenue. But I'd like to hear from you guys. Let's learn from each other here. What strategies have you guys used to increase AOV in your industry? Now let's talk about ad spend, where brands are pulling their money and what that means for e-commerce success. So first up, we have Facebook ads. And with over 7 billion spent, Facebook, which includes Instagram, continues to dominate. Brands are prioritizing social media for awareness campaigns, making Facebook the most scalable and effective platform. And then next up, we have Google ads, but with a bit of a twist. While still significant, $2.8 billion, Google Ads has seen a notable decrease. And since brands are using social media to drive awareness, fewer dollars are flowing into search-based intent marketing. And then we have the up-and-comers, which is Amazon ads, at around $421 million, which is crucial for direct product purchases. And we have TikTok ads at $393 million, which is a growing force for discovery-driven commerce. And then finally, niche and emerging platforms round out the list, offering moderate but strategic opportunities for brands targeting specific markets. So the key takeaway here is, social media dominates, search is shifting, and new players are rising. And a massive amount of ad spend was devoted to Facebook ads in the clothing industry, with $1.23 billion representing the very large majority of ad spend. Now, this suggests that social media, and especially visual-based platforms like Facebook and Instagram, are ideal platforms for selling clothing. Clothing brands spent $451 million on Google ads, which is less than half the amount spent on Facebook ads. So while search ads work great for customers with high purchase intent, the massive differential between Facebook ads and Google ads suggests that discovery-based shopping, while scrolling on social media, is more effective than search-based shopping for clothing. And TikTok emerged as a key player for clothing ads, with $74 million spent on the platform in 2024. So even though the platform's ad spend is far lower than Facebook and Google, TikTok has an influence on fashion trends and viral content. And it's clear that brands are increasingly testing and scaling their budgets on TikTok. So similar to clothing, the highest spend by ad platform belonged to Facebook ads, followed by Google ads. Since fashion accessories tend to be highly visual products, it's not surprising that Facebook and Instagram are some of the best platforms for discovery and conversion. TikTok ads are gaining ground for fashion accessories, with $24 million spent on the platform. And TikTok's ability to drive viral trends and impulse shopping, effective for lower cost items like fashion accessories, impacts ad spend for this platform. Health and beauty spent the most on Facebook ads at $1.68 billion. In second place was Google ads with $554 million. And in a switch from the above two industries, Amazon overtook TikTok as the third place platform. Amazon's success indicates that health and beauty brands succeed with marketplace-driven sales and discovery on Amazon's platform. TikTok is still contributing with trend-driven influencer-led marketing campaigns for health and beauty brands. So the industry with the highest cost per acquisition is computers at $21.25, followed by electronics, which makes sense as computers and electronics are higher ticketed items, and customers often take longer to make purchasing decisions. So since higher priced products allow for more expensive customer acquisition costs, a high CPA is justified here. But cell phone accessories have had a relatively high CPA compared to the price point of the product, which suggests that which suggests high competition and that brands need to work hard to stand out in a crowded market. Books have the lowest CPA, which indicates that consumers are more likely to buy a book without much hesitation, since it's a lower cost item. And there may also be less competition among advertising brands. So in 2024, both Amazon and Google Ads were the most efficient ad platforms. They had the highest ROAS, strong conversion rates, and high AOV, which made them both a great platform for revenue-driven strategies. And Facebook and TikTok had high click-through rates, known as CTR, but were less efficient at driving sales. And this suggests that these platforms are better for brand awareness or selling lower ticketed items. Now, Bing and Taboola had cost-effective acquisition, but had poor ROAS, which suggests that they might be better ad platforms for top-of-funnel awareness strategies. So in 2025, it's likely that brands will shift more of their budget towards Amazon and Google Ads for conversion, while still using platforms like Facebook and TikTok for awareness. So now let's look ahead to 2025. As 2024 demonstrated, e-commerce brands continue to navigate an ever-changing landscape, balancing shifts in consumer behavior, rising costs, and the evolving ad platform ecosystem. So with global e-commerce sales and digital ad spend both reaching new record highs, the data reveals key insights into how brands can optimize their strategies moving forward. High-performing industries leveraging platforms like Facebook and Google efficiently, while emerging channels like TikTok and Amazon showed strong potential for discovery and for conversion. And as we head into 2025, brands that strategically allocate their ad spend, focusing on high ROAS platforms for conversion and social media for brand awareness, are going to be the best positioned to thrive in such a competitive market. We all know platforms like Facebook and Google are powerful, but are you leveraging them efficiently? Well, at Triple Whale, a tool we offer our customers is Sonar. And Sonar helps companies like yours make data-driven decisions in real time to boost campaign performance. Sonar sends enriched first-party data to your marketing platforms, improving targeting and maximizing your ROI. You can also run real-time analytics to ensure your brand stays ahead. You can use live data to adjust ad spend and creative on the fly. And you can also reallocate resources for maximum impact because honestly, choosing the right channel is everything. So if you're looking to scale smarter and drive better results, use real-time analytics. If there's one thing that separates successful brands from the rest, it's also understanding their customers. Emerging platforms like TikTok and Amazon have become powerful tools for discovery and for conversion. But how do you use them effectively? Well, this is where we suggest for our customers to use the power of real-time data. So you can meet first-time buyers where they are. Targeting them at the right time and place is the key to turning them into loyal customers. Leveraging brand recognition to boost discovery and AOV, it's a big thing too. Strong branding makes customers more likely to engage and convert. And then stay ahead of buyer trends and behaviors. So the market, as you guys know, is constantly shifting. So real-time insights ensure you're always one step ahead. So it's really crucial to distinguish between new and returning customers. And by using these metrics, brands can refine their strategies so you can acquire new customers while retaining existing ones to maximize your lifetime value. Let's talk about future-proofing your marketing strategy. So the brands that thrive aren't just spending more, they're spending smarter. And by strategically allocating ad spend to high ROAS platforms for conversions and using social media for brand awareness, businesses can stay ahead in a very competitive market. And this is where we suggest for our customers to use a tool called Mobi. Mobi helps you analyze, learn, and optimize so you can make better data-backed decisions with a ton of confidence. So the key benefits of this would be, one, to optimize campaigns with AI-powered insights that are actionable and real-time. And two, to pinpoint successful campaign strategies by identifying what's working and then doubling down. You can also refine your marketing plan for the year ahead with data that adapts and evolves with your business. And the best part is Mobi actually learns from your data. So it's continuously improving its insights to deliver relevant and timely business intelligence. And that pretty much concludes my presentation. But if you would like more insights or want to see how Triple Whale can help your brand achieve record-breaking success, please visit our website or reach out to our team. I'm also going to add my LinkedIn and email in the chat in just a moment. And also you can actually try Triple Whale by connecting your store to our free analytics tool. It's called Founders Dash. It's a great way to dive into your data at no cost and get a feel for what we have to offer. And I'm also going to share that sign up in the chat shortly. So thank you so much, everyone. Wishing you nothing but success in 2025.
Fantastic job, Thamana, as always. To reiterate what Thamana said, the importance of real-time data is crucial, and making data-backed decisions is even more important. It really is the difference between sinking or swimming in 2025 and beyond. So just echoing everything that Thamana said. And I also highly, highly, highly recommend getting started on Founders Dash if you're not using it already. It is 1000% free, and it is an amazing starting point for you to consolidate your channels into one centralized source of truth and really start making some of those data backed decisions. And it's totally free. We completely understand that as you're growing, it's hard to add some new tech to your tech stack. So that's why we are here to support you and your brand and meet you where you are and offer this free tool for you. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and choose our giveaway winner today. There was so much chat going on. It was so nice to engage with all of you. So our winner today is Lauren Hamrick. Congratulations, Lauren. You're taking home a $100 Visa gift card, and we will get that sent out to you shortly. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Thamana. We will chat soon. Okay, friends, now we are moving on. And quick vibe check. How is everyone doing in the chat? Drop in if you guys are enjoying today's session, if you guys are having a good time today. I've been having an amazing time. Yes, I love it. I'm so glad to hear that everyone's doing good and everyone's enjoying the session. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to keep rolling. So joining me on stage now is SJ, the Senior Partner Marketing Manager from Justuno. Hello, my love. How are you?
Hello, Mia. I'm doing great today. Everything is going smoothly. I've loved hearing from everyone.
Beautiful. Yes, it's been such an amazing day today. And why don't you go ahead and pull up your screen, my love, and I will pass the stage over to you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay, I see it. Hopefully you see it.
Yep, you're good to go.
Perfect. So yes, SJ here from the Justuno perspective and world, where we are really focused about the on-site experience. I think this is a really great topic for us to speak on because it is like nowadays, right? You're trying to stand out, you're trying to squeeze everything you can out of your efforts. And so it is about being really proactive on your website. Just like Triple Whale is the source of truth, we like to think of the website as a source of truth, right? People are going to come there many times, and each one of those visits needs its own interaction, and it needs to be able to serve the purpose of answering that question, right? Because they're coming to your website to trust what you're saying there. So with that in mind, I'm going to get into just mirroring this experience coming from ads, coming from these really thought out campaigns, and increasing engagement. And the whole goal with this mirroring experience, I know someone else was mentioning it too, is to really make that post engagement click worth more and getting more out of that same session. I like to think about every session on the website. My goal is to convert that same session. And it feels like a big dream. It feels like a big goal. But when you think about that session as like being so valuable, you are able to see these other areas or touch points on site that deserve some type of messaging, offer, and that's all served up in a pop-up and through targeting. So where I'll get into today to give you some direction for what you can do after this webinar on your website is around channel tracking and targeting, just kind of foundational where you can start and where to take it. Then I'll get into quizzing. I know that's a really hot topic right now. So I'm going to show you just some strategies around that make it really proactive and kind of benefit multiple metrics for these paid ads that are coming through. Quizzing might not be the first thing that comes to mind for this paid traffic, right? Maybe your trigger finger, you just want to show them your best offer. And yes, I agree with that. But as we know, there's many different types of visitors coming from these ads. So different experiences we can serve up. And then we'll get into the post-click improvement in general and kind of what that can look like for you with Just You Know. And of course, testing, which I'm really glad that we heard so much about testing from Heatmap, because it is about like finding the low-hanging fruit that you can test, or just like your gut instinct, which channel really needs that kind of attention. So on our side, what I tend to hear about for this topic is really the lack of follow through post-click and being able to analyze that. Right? You probably have all your tools that you're using in your tech stack, and all of those tools have their own metrics. So of course, I'm encouraging you to feed that into Triple Whale, like as Just You Know is doing. And like one thing we want to get out of all of these platforms is like there is a reason that they all have their metrics that they're trying to show you. So really knowing like where to dive in, at least when it comes to these pop-up metrics. That's something that we help brands with. And then of course it's hard to test. It's hard to like maybe know what to test, what to put your time into. And I know just from setting up multiple tests, sometimes it can just feel like you end up wanting to test everything. And while that is like a direction we want to, it's a good mindset to have, there are ways to narrow down exactly what to commit your time to. Because at the end, like you want to have a good segment of data. You want to have you want to have one variable in there. So things we want to understand before we test a lot. And then, of course, another hurdle is just not enough time with this kind of paid traffic that tends to bounce, not enough time to present your value or the value prop that speaks to that specific traffic source. So that totally makes sense. And we're going to talk about just bounce rate and how we can affect that. So getting into it, let me make sure I have my notes here because I wanted to share some links throughout. So when it comes to channel performance, this is where I'm saying that we can really get into advanced targeting, or at least just a general starting point. So this is an example from a client using Just You Know, and we're tracking carts abandoned, and then that rate by channel. So different ways that you can see that data, like right away. I know I have this cut off, but just to show you some, kind of targeted data, we can see that affiliates has that abandoned cart rate up, as does organic social. When we begin to look at paid over here and social, that's different as well. So you can just see right away, we have an idea of like, okay, at least affiliates, so organic social traffic, that needs our attention. Maybe that is different for someone that is more focused on paid, right? We're going to see that, but this is just a good view for you to know that you can analyze quickly in this way. And then where to take action. Like, I really want you to feel like you can, okay, we have the data, now what? Like, we get a lot of that. So now you can create workflows, and you can see this branch order. This should look pretty familiar if you've worked like in your email or your SMS platforms as far as the targeting. But what we've done is created workflows so that you actually can create one workflow, one place where all of these channels are getting the attention that they need. I'll break this down even further. So when we think about omni-channel targeting, this is kind of like a basic way we can approach it with just the first impression. So as soon as they click through, that's considered maybe that welcome experience. Oopsies. Or even extended to the exiting experience or cart abandonment experience happening on the website. This is what we can do. So we can look at the direct traffic. We can present our offer and a countdown timer, urgency, keeping it really simple. But then let's look at this referral traffic, right? Maybe that's someone coming from your partnerships with influencers or creators. So there we want to learn a little bit more about them. If they have a higher bounce rate or cart abandonment, and maybe the best offer hasn't been working, then let's opt into learning more about them. And then in real time in that pop-up quiz, you're showing them a product recommendation or your just perfect bundle. You can curate that with different algorithms. So actually, yeah, let me throw that one in chat for you so you can have that to look at. But just different algorithms connected to the immediate quiz data you're getting from these paid channels already is getting you a lot more value out of that visit. Different ways we can take it here. You can definitely screenshot this, or this is a workflow we have in the Just You Know platform. And then I'll lean into this channel targeting just with like you don't have to overcomplicate it. These screenshots I have here are with our partner reviews.io, who's also presenting on this later. And the beauty of what we've created is just making it, one, super easy for you to use that review in other places. Pop-ups is like the number one best place I could advise. One, because you're just letting someone else speak for you and really attest to all the positive that your brand or your product has given them. And then two, we're able to keep engagement up, right? That's kind of what I mentioned earlier. Engagement can look like add to carts, clicking through, seeing a pop-up that has messaging, and then staying on site longer. So in these examples, like this can be for any kind of exiting visitor. You can see we've got free shipping. We're giving the code, so we're not causing any friction to get them off site. And then we're showing them a very relatable or attribute rich kind of review that you would get out of something like reviews.io. And then a call to action, a template that you can modify. Here on the right, you can see this is simply just pulling in reviews, showing that based off of what page they're exiting from. And the idea is, one, we're going to track someone that's coming from a paid channel. And then two, we're combining that by knowing, okay, which page are they exiting? And do they actually have anything in cart or don't they? Those are just some quick tells that will allow you to create a better strategy that gets higher conversion rates. One of my favorites here is the spin to win. So it's another take on gamification. I'm sure you've seen spin to wins out there. But this is really, it is that whole mirroring the experience vibe. So if you're sending out those review requests, right, you're probably sending out a thank you for that review. Once they're coming from that review and they've given you that insight, that's your time to really shine and get them kind of back into that shopping funnel. Whether it's discovering new products, just being engaged in your community via the website or social, like there's different ways to take that. But let's say they click through from that email or that text, they're then greeted with this type of spin to win that lets them redeem their free offer. So in your email, SMS, you're kind of teasing that. Once they arrive on site, that's where all the action is happening. And that's like definitely a hurdle we see when it comes to this spend topic and attribution. It's like, just how do we know what to serve them? It's like we keep saying right message, right time. And it really is just about the details of how you're setting up these campaigns, and like UTM targeting will take you so far. So wrapping up the channel targeting, we don't have to overcomplicate. This is an example from a brand that uses many banners on their website to target different channels. So this is targeting our more of that like welcome experience right when they arrive on site, right? This is the banner. We're not popping up to show them anything, especially on mobile. That's something you want to be aware of because of those SEO standards that at least Google has set. Right? We don't want something to pop up immediately, at least not taking up 30% of the page. I can talk about that later with you too. But banners are a great way to overcome that and just make a really great first impression for those visits. So you can see here, kind of we were talking about like all of those. Let me go back here. We were talking about all of these post-click experiences. Like these are all triggered from the banner. So it's the offer with the countdown timer, right? Then we have the free expedited shipping for maybe someone that's a little more valuable of a customer, has visited many sites, not just from that first ad. And then we have these banners that just activate the quiz. That's going to recommend them a product or a bundle right away. My favorite and just the easiest thing you could do to sync like from your owned channels at least and getting more out of that is using a banner to sync with that email campaign message and then giving that code either again or for the first time in the pop-up. The whole goal is to like actually get them to click through from the email or your own channel to the website. A lot of that's taken away if you present that code already, which I know we don't want to cause any friction. But if you're just wording that right, setting the right expectations, like you're more delighting them once they get on the website to see that code. So I'll transition now into just being really proactive with discovery when it comes to paid efforts and just the different sessions that have to happen before someone converts, because we know it's not going to happen on the first session. So I'll break this down just with quizzing, because that is something really popular and it's something you can connect to your lead captures easily. So with quizzing, we have the attribute gathering kind and then the product recommendation kind. So attribute gathering, I've just thrown in some questions or some insight into like questions you can't ask, right? So about someone's style. I know zodiac sign maybe feels kind of out there, but I've seen like 3 of our brands incorporate that. And one brand, it was like their baby clothing and just kind of knowing what the baby sign was going to be and getting a whole like baby outfit set up for them. So just like that's kind of immersing yourself and just to these different lifestyles and how people are thinking, right? And what is really going to make them shop, and it's feeling something. So that's feeling connected. You can also ask about just general concerns about XYZ that's related to your product or any kind of problem you're trying to solve. For product recommendation, right? This is the type of quiz where you're asking some questions to end up giving the right type of product recommendation. You can use any of those algorithms that I threw in. You can make your own, but we could ask things like category interest, even down to who you're shopping for, again, concerns. I've also seen people really approach this from like trying to know where they fit in, maybe into the whole like what they actually shop for and what someone's willing to put money towards. And so that comes from asking maybe like, when's the last time you bought this? Which other retailers do you shop from? So you kind of get that better picture of where your visitor fits into different personas that you might be targeting. And then placement for any of these quizzes. I mean, the classic is in your lead capture, right? Whenever someone first arrives on site, you're throwing some questions in there. You can really make that more elevated by adding in the product recommendation point to that, depending on the segment. Like Heat Map was saying, maybe if it's a new versus return visitor, you're being a little more aggressive in the product recommendation versus the new visitor, you're being more educational in product recommendation or like categories. But you can definitely explore embedded content, of course, the welcome. Whenever someone does add something to cart and showing them something, whether it's their free gift that bundles well with that item or just a really great offer mixed with some educational content. We've seen that. I say educational content, it could be maybe just like a CTA that downloads something for them, but I would say just something that makes sense or gives them value along with that product is where we're seeing the tie come in and lead to those conversions. And then of course, just as someone's browsing, I mean, on any account that I've ever checked, mobile and desktop are always different browsing experiences. Maybe it's 2 pages versus 6 pages, really extreme, right? But that should influence when you're actually going to fire these pop-ups. Maybe if you're waiting for has traveled 5 pages and they're on mobile, that doesn't really make sense because they're just the average shopper is not going to get there. So I'll leave you here with the quiz information. And then, so we've talked about the quizzing, we've talked about the channel stuff, right? So at the end, there's even more data out of this that you're kind of just going to have out there unless you're able to digest this in a great way. So with our Triple Whale and Just integration, we're able to send all this engagement and conversion event data that you see listed here to Triple Whale to its own dashboard so that you can have that really full picture. I would say like there's a lot you can get out of analyzing this in Just of course, along with your other workflows, but having that full picture is really going to give you the insight to see like what the actual impact of the cart abandonment workflows and designs are. So the whole thing I'll leave you with here today and like thinking through that post-click improvement and testing is to ask these questions of yourself, your team, or just your data, right? Looking at each platform, seeing what that's delivering. So we want to look at which channels have the lowest engagement. So who really needs your help? And if you don't have any pop-ups up yet, then it's probably going to be every channel. So we want to get something to start analyzing, and Triple Whale will give you that too. Or as long as you're setting up any kind of trial, you'll have that info. We want to look at exited pages and cart abandonment, and then of course, lead capture segments. So that gets into just knowing which questions to ask, maybe your new versus return visitors. That's it for me. I thank you so much for your time. Please feel free to redeem this free website conversion audit. This is where we can get into all of those channels, what they're really acting like, how we compare to that to other sites we're looking at. And then I'm happy to catch up via email anytime.
Amazing presentation, as always, SJ. I love when our partners come prepared with free goodies for our attendees. So yes, definitely scan that QR code and take Just up on that offer for that free website conversion audit, especially because we're still quite early into the year. So this is like the perfect time for you to implement some of those changes into your site, do some testing. And I can't believe I'm about to say this, but prepare for BFCM and holiday for 2025. I know.
Oh, geez. Not yet, please.
And before I let you go, SJ, we are going to go ahead and choose your giveaway winner. So let's go ahead and scroll on through here. And I'm going to butcher your name. I'm so sorry. Congratulations, Vasiliki Salmas. You are taking home an Amazon gift card courtesy of SJ.
Yay, congrats. I just threw a final link in the chat for everyone if you want to experience a quiz and kind of what I was talking through. And we just want to give you some good templates and insight after that.
Amazing. Love to
Thank
always have you
you.
join us, SJ. We will chat soon, my love. Okay, friends, joining me up on the stage next, we have Ben, who is the head of partnerships over at Postpilot. Hello, Ben. How are you doing today?
What's up? I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing fabulous. Why don't you go ahead and pull up your screen, Ben, and the stage is all yours.
Awesome. I will do that in 1 second, but I just wanted to thank everyone for sticking around for my session today. Super excited to get going, and let's keep the good times rolling and the good prizes rolling. Before we get kicked off, we do have a prize for you at the end, so stay engaged, but I want to invite everyone for a free massage. How does that sound? If anyone's going to Vegas for Shop Talk, I'm going to drop a link in the chat right now. We're hosting an awesome event at the Mandalay Bay. Come check it out, grab a massage, we'll have a good time, and we can chat all things direct mail, because we're going to talk about that today, and we're also going to talk about smart marketing and smart spending. So I'm going to get my slides up here, and we will get kicked off.
For sure, Ben. Stage is all yours. Also, what an amazing way to start off a presentation. Free massage for everyone.
Yeah, hopefully everyone's excited about that. All right, so for those of you who have met me before, I am Ben. I run the partner program here at Postpilot, and today I'm going to talk about smart spending. So how can we leverage our first-party data? I'm going to run you through some cohort testing and run you through our approach here at Postpilot to really maximize your spend efficiencies and get the most out of your marketing. And if you're not familiar with Postpilot, this is what we do. We do direct mail, postcards in your mailbox. It's a bit of an old school channel, but we've refreshed it. We've really made it and brought it into the digital age. We call ourselves like the Klaviyo for direct mail marketing, or the Meta for direct mail marketing. We do full funnel all the way from retention to acquisition marketing. And we've really brought the old school to the new school in a lot of ways. And when you think about direct mail, 100-year plus tried and true channel, a lot of us think, okay, it's a black box, right? How are we going to get any attribution feedback? How are we going to close that loop? How are we going to scale, grow? How are we going to get it started? Like, what are we going to be building off of? Are we just going to choose a random audience, a random zip code, postal code, address, and just send out there? No. Postpilot makes direct mail relevant in today's digital forward world, and obviously trackable forward world. It is no longer a black box. And so when you work with Postpilot, right, we're talking about how can you leverage data, how can you leverage attribution to grow and scale your marketing spend. This is what you're going to get, right? This is actually the back end. We're looking at the back end right now of Postpilot, a full breakdown, right, of your direct mail campaigns, everything from return on ad spend to conversion rates, pieces sent, incremental lift, holdout analysis. And so no longer is direct mail this black box of unknowns where you're not sure if you're actually getting any attributable revenue, any attributable conversions from the channel. We're actually helping you show exactly what's working so that you can scale in the right way. And we take it one step further. As soon as we're built on the Shopify ecosystem, so we directly integrate with Shopify, Klaviyo, many others on this call here today. As soon as you sync up, we're going to give you a suite of tools, right? You're going to see your time between purchase reports, your LTV by cohort reports, detailed campaign reports, customer insights, category insights for your Shopify brand. And this is going to allow you, right? We're talking about how can we market smarter? How can we deploy our spend in a way that's going to increase and maximize our efficiencies, right? And we can get the most profit out of our efforts. These are the types of reports that Postpilot is going to equip you with, so that you can actually take that to the next level and really deliver some actionable wins. So here at Postpilot, we think about a few different ways to really get started when we're talking about segmenting and leveraging these reports to, obviously launch our campaigns and test and iterate. And so the first two things, I'm going to talk about some reports here today. Obviously, number one, defining your objectives. So what do you want to get out of the channel? What do you want to get out of your campaigns? What are the results you're looking for? That's the most important thing when we're talking about smart marketing. And obviously, how are we going to look at attribution metrics if we don't know what we're looking for? How are we going to optimize from there? So that's number one. But number two is running some really key reports so we can start to gain our learnings from our first party data and scale from that point. So the first one that we love to run here at Postpilot and that you should all be testing for your brand, we've got a case study here from Hexclad who did this over BFCM, I think 3 years ago now. The must-run analysis is your recency analysis. So I already highlighted for you that when you sync up to Postpilot and get started with direct mail, we're going to give you a report on when your customers are typically coming back between their first and second purchase, second and third purchase, third and fourth purchase. And obviously, in today's world where acquisition can be so expensive, so many brands are focused on growing that customer LTV, getting more life out of the customers that they've already paid to acquire. And so, this recency analysis right here, where we basically bucket out our customers in basically 30, 90, 180-day intervals, right? As we go further back, we can kind of break these up and make it a little bit larger. This is going to give us a good sense of we should be inserting a touch point, whether it's direct mail, whether it's email, whether it's SMS, ideally a mix of all three. This is when we should send that touch point to optimize the conversion rate coming off of that spend, right? And so the first analysis, of course, recency analysis is going to give you a great playbook, basically moving forward. If you're building out your kind of retention motions now, or even if you already have some retention motions in play, if you're looking to optimize those, grow them further, this is a really great way to start. And we're going to give you some of that data right away when you start working with Postpilot, when your brand or when your customers typically coming back. But the best way to do it is going to be able to collect your own data via testing through this recency analysis and through buckets. So that's market analysis number one. Now, the second tool that I'm going to give you here, and another one that I suggest to really obviously maximize efficiencies within your marketing stack, is going to be running some tests on your highest LTV products. So market analysis or must run analysis number two is identifying your highest LTV products. So again, if we're talking about efficiencies, how can we deploy our dollars in the most productive way? Being able to identify what are those products within my entire mix of product SKUs that are going to be driving the most when I'm focusing on LTV and obviously repeat purchase. And so if you can break this up, and again, this is something that Postpilot is going to be able to help with on our end, breaking up your order reports basically by the specific products that are coming through, and then being able to associate customer LTV off of those product purchases is going to help direct your next steps when you're thinking about, okay, what products should I be moving forward to market with? What products should I be focusing on in my retention marketing, my cross-sell marketing? And so, I mean, I mentioned BFCM. We just mentioned BFCM 5 minutes ago when we were coming off the Just Uno session. But these are the sorts of things that you should be testing throughout the year, especially as we're preparing for some peak seasons and when we really need to be careful how we're deploying our dollars. So again, the two analyses that we always recommend you run here at Postpilot would be this recency analysis. So really finding out when is it the most impactful to be in touch with your customers, and then two, the LTV analysis, which is going to dictate what products we should be focusing on in our marketing, go-to-market, or retention marketing. So from here, of course, we want to optimize. So again, we're looking at the Postpilot dashboard here. Of course, if we're running this analysis and we're running our campaigns the right way at Postpilot, you can see here kind of that recency analysis in play as we have these win backs with last order date windows on the left-hand side of your screen. It's very easy to quickly identify underperformers as well as overperformers, and then to, obviously drive towards those specific initiatives. So for this brand here, we ran the recency analysis. We did last order date 120 to 180, 61 to 180, 180 to 365, obviously varying number of orders as well in that. And what we found was that 4 of the 5 segments were having great success reactivating via direct mail. So obviously, you can see pretty impressive last order date 545 to 740 days, more than 3 orders, but they haven't bought in a couple of years. In that case, we were actually able to, reactivate them at around a 4.2x ROAS, which is awesome. Now, 120 to 180 one-time buyers, not as strong of a segment, right? We had a 0.4 ROAS. And so as we're running these automations and as we're collecting this feedback within the Postpilot app, our team, your team, we can look at these numbers together and we can decide and dictate how we want to continue moving forward. And it's easy enough to turn off like a campaign segment like last order date 120 to 180 and to continue or reallocate those dollars elsewhere, whether it be pipeline activation, acquisition, or just focusing your efforts on the cohorts that are actually seeing success. So when we're talking about obviously how we can deploy our dollars in more efficient manners, this is a really important, thing to do, collecting that data, being able to, review that with our team here at Postpilot, and then optimizing your efforts and dollars towards that. So how do we actually apply this once we collect the feedback? As I mentioned earlier, there's so much we do here at Postpilot. We do everything from retention all the way up to acquisition marketing. But if we're talking about LTV, if we're talking about optimizing our existing list, There's so many ways that we can start to engineer that second purchase. Once we know when it makes sense to get in touch with them, once we know what products we should be featuring with them, we can run any of these pretty typical and standard campaigns that you're familiar with, but at the right time with the right featured offer and the right product. So what are your next steps? If you're interested by this quick snippet today, if you want to learn more about what we do here at Postpilot and how we help our brands optimize their marketing spend, and in a lot of cases deploy a new channel in direct mail marketing, let's set up some time. So you can go to this link right here, postpilot.com/meet. You can meet with our team today. We'll run you through a full product demo and tell them that I sent you from this webinar. We're going to give you some free postcard credits to start. You're also going to get some other goodies that you can see here on the slide, extra free months, all that good stuff. But we're really excited to dig in. We're really excited to get started with direct mail. As you can see, so many brands that were built in the digital age, Hexclad, Dr. Squatch, Parade, Simple Modern, they've launched direct mail. They've seen success with the channel, and they've run, of course, all of these analyses that we looked at today. So hopefully this was exciting for you all, and I'm excited to give away a Bays backpack as well.
Yes, amazing presentation, Ben. It's always so great to hear about new and emerging channels that are seeing so much success. And Zavar said it best about like the old school becoming the new school. I really do believe that direct mail has been performing so well. And even across the brands here at Triple Wheel, they're seeing some amazing performance with direct mail as well and using Postpilot. So highly recommend everyone connecting with the Postpilot team. And like Ben said, they have a Bays backpack to give away today. So we are going to scroll on through today and choose our giveaway winner. And congratulations, Katrina Jackson. You are taking home a Bays backpack.
Let's go. And I'll see you in Vegas for a massage.
Yes. Amazing. Thank you so much, Ben. There was a couple of questions in the chat if you want to stick around and answer some of those.
Can do. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, friends, we are moving on to our next speaker. Joining us from Clear.io, we have Seb, who is the Tech Partner Manager. Hello, Seb. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing fabulous. If you want to go ahead and pull up your screen, the stage is all yours.
Sure. Yeah. I'll pull it up and then just let me know when you can see it. Click slideshow here.
Yep, you're
Okay.
good to go.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining. We've heard a ton of awesome presentations around the topic of bridging the attribution gap. So I want to make this short and sweet and very simple to understand. Right now, we will be talking about our reviews solution, reviews.io. Clear.io is a suite of apps in the e-commerce ecosystem, including search, returns, address validation, loyalty, and gamification, which is also another topic that we were talking a lot about in chat. So yeah, let's get into it. So just wanted to situate ourselves here, relativize what we're talking about with regards to reviews. I grabbed a few different stats and trends around reviews just so that we could understand the power of a review. I think most importantly, reviews are hard to track, but incredibly important with regards to making a buying decision. And that's really where that gap that we're talking about today is around trust and how you can measure trust. So just to start off, 81% of customers trust reviews and UGC more than traditional brand messaging. I saw a little bit in the chat around creating strong messaging through personalization. I'm going to get into how we can leverage how you can leverage a review within your messaging and targeted messaging so that you're actually just using actual customer feedback. Reviews impact buying decisions. 95% of consumers believe reviews are important when making a purchase decision. And 70% of consumers won't try a new business without checking a review first. And most importantly, and something that I certainly believe is something we should all consider all the time, is that shoppers are smart and getting smarter. As technology is improving, we as buyers and we as shoppers are also improving and wanting more, and being more careful around how we're choosing our infinite amount of possibilities with regards to the products that we love. So how do we get in front of shoppers today? So just wanted to go a quick overview around some of the ways that reviews can be measured within the reviews.io platform. Now, there are a ton of different features within reviews.io, but I wanted to choose some very specific features to talk about today that I think really suggest strong opportunities for actionable data, like review surveys, reviews attribute data, which is granular data around a particular product type that you can send out after you buy. And then, like SJ was talking about, that customer feedback loop with regards to targeted messaging in pop-ups. So firstly, surveys are great way to take a customer's experience and track on that through a variety of different ways to engage with them. So, you know, as you can imagine, after you buy and you get a survey and you had a great experience, all of a sudden you're able to now tailor that messaging and track on that data and put it back into a data platform like Triple Whale or Klaviyo, or make personalized messaging with Rebuy. But all in all, I think that like when you have something like a survey, that becomes a clickable experience and something that you can start building data around. Product and customer attributes is a feature that I think is incredibly important nowadays. Not only are we able to give a review on the product or the company, but you can really get more granular with like the size, the color, and all different kinds of more granular buying decisions through the process of a review. So, you know, as a smart shopper, if I'm seeing a review for a color that I love and a size that I know that I am, the likelihood that I know that I'm about to click on that or buy that is a much better experience. So I think I heard somebody say, you know, now that I have all this data, what do I do with it? And so along the you know, multi-touch attribution strategies that marketers are using, you know, reviews now, it can be situated with something attributable, you know, rather than it being kind of guesswork, or you know, you need to have a review. Reviews are inherent on any e-commerce experience. Now we can really take it to the next level with a review and start to really make some great decisions around that data. So yeah, you know, I really racked my brain around whether or not you can take a review and create attribution with it without having a CTA. And I asked some folks, you know, I had some conversations, I took a look at our platform, and the reality is you really need to be able to have something to click, something to track on that actual experience. So the way that the, you know, customer feedback loop can work is you know, as you're aggregating the reviews and as you're aggregating that customer data, you can put it back into an awesome, simple to use, easy pop-up solution like Just Uno, where then you are not only increasing engagement, post-click engagement, but you're also meeting the shopper within their customer journey, whether it's abandoned cart, which is a huge piece of the e-commerce experience, or make it fun, spin to win. We set this up with Just Uno, and I immediately started seeing the impact of this prepackaged strategy within their portal. And it, you know, I think within the last 6 months, I've seen 60 or so qualified leads come our way as a result of just simply suggesting and offering strategies that we came up together with, use cases, if you will, mutual value propositions, all by just, a simple pop-up. And I think that like when, you have a highway of information that in ways that we need to, pre-package and think about strategy and all this sort of stuff to really be able to like put that all together for a merchant, we'll do all the work. And then all you have to do is select it off the shelf and apply it to your website. You immediately begin to see some of that make some good definition and changes. So all in all, since we have all of this data that we can now get from a review solution, what do you do with it and how do you work it? And I think we've heard a number of really amazing presentations around data and how to leverage that data within platforms real time instead of waiting. Benefits, to the Triple Whale platform or Rebuy or Justuno or Klaviyo is just, segmenting your audiences, targeted campaigns, and reaching your customers more often with clearer messaging and, really bridging that attribution gap. So I'm happy to be here and continue chatting more. And hopefully this was meaningful to you. So I'm going to stop sharing now. And yeah, thanks for having us.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Seb. It was so great to hear from all of your tips and tricks. There was a couple questions in the chat, so feel free to hang back and answer some of those. But before I let you go, we're going to go ahead and choose your giveaway winner for a $75 Uber Eats gift card. So I'm going to scroll on through. And congratulations, Brianna Walsman. You are taking home that $75 Uber Eats gift card courtesy of Seb and the Clearer.io team. Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today, Seb, and we'll chat soon.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. On to our last speaker of the day, last but certainly not least. Hello, Ryan. Welcome to the stage. Ryan is joining us from Logical Position as their Director of Partnerships and Client Solutions. How are you, Ryan?
I am great. I'm excited to take the stage and share some wisdom.
Yes, we're excited too. Go ahead and pull up your screen and the stage is all yours.
All right. So I appreciate all of you sticking around for the end here. Hopefully I can keep your attention and give you some information. I tried to condense this down into some information. I couldn't get it down as much as I wanted, so I'm just going to talk really fast. So if you're looking at the recording, you might not need me on 1.5 to get through it. But we're going to talk today about where's Google hiding things from advertisers. It's an intense time where we're trying to save money as advertisers, and there's a lot of ways that Google can hide some things. And we're not doing tinfoil hat things today. We're actually going to talk through some hard data. So just bear with me and let's go fast. Okay. We're going to talk about Google earnings and trends because you've got to see where Google's been and what they're doing so you can understand how we need to be finding things. We're going to go actually through some very specific ways that you can find things in your account. I'll tell you logical position in a second, but I'm not going to talk much about it. And then I want to give you some hard, quick things you can do in your account to try to protect your investment in Google and make it work better for you. Without further ado, I'm Ryan Garrow. If you know any Ryans, you know that we probably don't even go by our first name. And thankfully, my last name's unique enough. So just everybody calls me Garrow. If you see me at an event and call me Ryan, I'll be like, oh, who's that? Director of Partnerships and Client Solutions at Logical Position. I really focus on a lot of our large client strategy and things we can be doing. I've been doing this 15 years in Logical Position, bought the company I was CEO of about a decade ago now. And I've stayed on because I get to talk to brands all day, every day and help set some strategy, talk to our partners. So I just enjoy what I do and I get to keep doing it. And I like it. I got 4 businesses. I've got 4 kids, 7 to 11. I live on 9 acres. So I'm pretty much crazy and I'm busy all the time. So if you capture me, let's have some fun and talk. All right. To understand where I'm coming from, you have to understand how I look at growth for e-com brands. You know, having had my own that I took to 7 figures and then exited and did some things, I enjoy it. But when you grow a business, you've got to think about the funnel. And every business has traffic on this funnel. And you really, as a default, need to build from the bottom up. Now, even if there's no demand and all you need to do is create awareness, you still want to have the bottom of funnel marketing in place so that you can understand if the top of funnel is actually working. So it'd be very difficult to reverse this and build all your awareness first and not have any demand capture there. Generally build bottom up. There are going to be exceptions to everything in e-commerce, and I get that. But start with the basics and then modify for your individual business. Conversion rates are higher at the bottom, lower at the top. And as you're building SEO and influencers, you don't want to start as a brand new launched business doing SEO because it's going to take forever to outrank some of those brands. So, and you don't even know the right keywords yet. You got to run Google ads first to figure out the keywords before you build SEO. But generally speaking, this is how we frame everything. And the Google part generally stays down at the bottom here. But we're going to have some issues that we're uncovering where Google's trying to force you to spend money at the top of the funnel, which you don't necessarily want to do with your Google spend. Also, the business growth flywheel. So this is how I try to explain how your customer acquisition and money comes from. If you don't have traffic coming to your site, who cares about SEO at this point? You can't optimize your site until you have traffic there. So focus on traffic first. Then you got to convert those people. And then once they convert, then you've got to nurture those and bring them back again. If you don't have a business right now for where they come back and purchase in the future, it's going to be very difficult to sustain that business. You've got to have a plan for multiple purchases in that life cycle. Think of a mattress company. All those mattress companies would go out and lose a bunch of money selling that first mattress. And if you didn't have pillows or sheets like Purple is selling everything now. There are so many things on their site because they need that lifetime value because they can't make a lot of money because most of your money does happen at the after email. Most of you are going to break even on Google. There's some industries and some brands that do get profit on the first order, but not necessarily at scale. You know, if you're in the beauty or fashion space, you're probably losing money on the first order, and then you've got to nurture them and bring them back to profit through the end. And so all 3 points are very important. I would argue that as a starting brand, you've got to have a very solid email, SMS loyalty process to bring them back into the brand so that you can invest on there and you're not worried about what happens 3 to 6 months later because you already know that's working. All right, Google and YouTube. YouTube owned by Google, if you didn't know that. YouTube is the issue in your Google Ads account, primarily where a lot of things are happening that you just need to be aware of. So Google has a YouTube problem. So you can look at this graph here. I've taken all of the earnings from Google and YouTube and I put them in a couple graphs. So the annual revenue of Google is this orange line. Blue line is YouTube, and they are not necessarily going in the same direction. YouTube is always smaller as it should be. It's still very big. But Google's massive. And obviously the trajectory of Google is, especially in this area, is increasing. But this one is interesting. That is a massive leap. Google was huge in 2020. The jump in earnings from 20 to 21, that stands out. They actually grew at 41% as a company year over year earning. I mean, that's astronomical for most businesses most of the time. But when you're as big as Google was at the time, it's huge. So on this, you can see YouTube is actually growing as a percent of revenue year over year. And every year they're beating Google, except this anomaly right here in 2017. And then the last 3 years, it's been bad. Google's outpacing YouTube. And YouTube, if you're not aware, has all these videos. It's essentially an unlimited available inventory for ads because you can stick ads in between the videos you're watching. You can put display ads all over the place. It's not dependent on search volume, which Google's very dependent on search volume. And it's not been growing a lot lately. And if we look at 2021, where we had that massive increase, that's when PMax was forced on all of us. Yes, the pandemic had an impact on people buying things and searching things, but the biggest change in the way you get that kind of hockey stick level growth they got was PMax. Google's profit was up 90% those years. So we were talking revenue growth. The profit was up astronomically. I mean, they grew $36 billion in profit from 20 to 21. That's an insane amount of money. And that's when they pushed preferred or PMax to everybody and made it preferred over standard. So all of us in the digital marketing space had to say, well, we like standard, we like the controls. Now we got to go to PMax because if we don't, Google's not going to show our ads. It used to be before that point, you could play even playing field standard and PMax or smart shopping before they changed it to PMax. Now, where we are in advertising now, logical position, by the way, has 7,000 clients. We've got about 750 employees in the US. So we're pretty big. We've got a lot of data to pull from. So a lot of my data is just at scale. We've got a lot going on and I can see a lot of things. 90% of you are on PMax, probably closer to 100% right now, are using PMax in the e-commerce space to drive it. As we look at 23 versus 24 in some of Google's earnings, and I read these and dissect it so that I can help guide our advertisers, CPCs are up about 20% in the last year. Obviously, I haven't dug into 25 numbers deeply. We're only, a little over 2 months in, but CPCs are up 24 to 23. Google's revenue, if you look at their earnings, was only up 13.8%. So something's changing here, right? We're paying more, but Google's revenue is not going up as high as the CPCs are. And cloud was up 35% in that. And that's a big department there. We know that YouTube grew less than Google. So YouTube was below that 13%. Search is down. So there's a lot of you are not spending less. You're spending more because search is down. Okay. Well, yes, CPCs are up, but where are these other things are waste, which I want to touch on. It's hidden in there, and you've got to figure out where it is to be able to uncover it and get that waste out of there so you can spend your money on where it's going to have the biggest impact for your brand. So where it's hiding, I'm going to go through some very specific things very quickly. So you might have to go watch the recording to remember all of these things. And I'll have my QR code at the end. It'll go right to my booking. So you'll be able to book with me directly, and I can help walk some of you through this as well. Okay. Google Ads analysis. Step one, get this page up where you got campaigns. The first thing we're going to do is you have to have all campaigns. So even if you only have one PMAX, that's fine. But we're primarily going to pick on PMAX in this because that's where a lot of waste is happening. PMAX, you go to modify columns. Again, all of your campaigns, not just PMAX. It has to be any search display. Anything in there, you want PMAX in there with all campaigns. Go to modify columns, and you want to add views and CPV. So you have to type that in. There are hidden things in the modify columns there. You just got to search for them, add them in. But you'll see its Performance Max campaign has 51.89 views and a cost per view of 5.3 cents. That's actually YouTube spend stuck in your Performance Max campaign. So that's one area. You can find that. It'll be some up at the bottom. There's going to be a decent amount of that. I'm seeing in the neighborhood of 5 to 10% of your PMAX going into that space. Some are more, some are less, but it's an area that you can actually you can choose not to spend that area, but Google is automatically creating YouTube ads for you. They've been doing it for a couple of years. And because they know that AI video creation is important and that's where they want to be, they've been kind of very secretly, they tell big partners like us that it's happening, but the average advertiser doesn't read Google blogs every day like we do. It's happening. The AI video creation, whether you created it or not, you have YouTube videos being played on your behalf. And you've given permission for Google to do that in a Performance Max campaign when you set it up. The other thing you can see, go to report editor. So if you go to your insights and reports, go down to report editor here. We want to create a report. There's a couple clicks to get to this point, but you're going to go in here and then this area here, you search for the metrics and dimensions you want to look at. It's pretty simple once you get to this point, but you want to add in item ID, cost, and I like looking at conversion value divided by cost. But you can see these are the item IDs. This means it was a shopping ad. That item ID showed. There's going to be very little things that were like dynamic remarketing, but that's a very small thing at this point. So generally speaking, this is going to be spent on shopping ads, which is important because that's really where you're finding new buyers to your brand. But you can also see, okay, this particular advertiser I analyzed that they thought they were spending all this money on shopping because it was PMAX. The return on ad spend was pretty low on the shopping ads. So we talked through that with them. But here's the data between that specific account. In the time period I looked at, I think it was a month, almost $15,000 was spent in PMAX. Only $4,400 was spent in shopping. So over $10,000 was spent in other. And other is all the other things Google has because they can do really whatever they want with PMAX. Display ads, text ads, shopping ads, and video ads. The most important for you in growing your brand is shopping ads. It has this halo effect. So the more you spend, and we've done so much analysis in shopping because we have, again, 7,000 clients. There's a lot that we have to be able to know and understand. The more you spend on shopping, the more you get organic, direct, and email abandoned cart flow revenue to increase as well. That's not attributed to anything else besides increased spend in shopping. So if you double your shopping spend, I would also expect your organic, direct, and email revenue to increase in proportion. Each one's not going to grow the same, but what happens is shopping's the best place for somebody to discover your brand, and then they go back and do research, and that conversion actually happens last click through that organic, direct, and email. So a huge thing there. And then broad match keywords and shopping, because of the broad match keywords and the way they interact, your shopping is going to hopefully complement some of those text ads, and you're going to get an overall higher return on ad spend across all of them. This account also, because we had broad match keywords in your account, this account only had 14 keywords that spent. So what's interesting here is they were all exact match, which is okay. Nothing wrong with that. Only 2 of them had a conversion value. So you had 12 keywords spent, 2 converted, everything else in there was there, but there was a lot of spend on search, and we could actually pull up some ads doing incognito searches to show, hey, there's a text ad here. It's not built out in your account. Keywords not covered by exact will show PMAX. And so if you have broad match keywords in your account, PMAX is going to take precedence over those and create ads. And you're going to have this separation of, you thought text ad was showing for broad match, oatmeal. And instead it's actually showing in a PMAX account where you can't see the search query. And so you get frustrated because you have this dirty data and you don't even know that it's dirty, because you've got text ads showing in PMAX, text ads showing in search campaigns, and your data is across. You don't know if the conversions happen in PMAX on the same keyword, or it gets so messy. So how can you solve this? Again, go really quick. So you might have to do a review on this or meet me, but test standard shopping campaigns. Smaller advertisers that don't have a very advanced agency team, that don't know how to segment PMAX and control it really well, I highly recommend standard shopping campaigns. You get equal footing with PMAX now. It doesn't have value above shopping, so they're equal, and neither one's getting preferred, which Google's told everybody that. Not necessarily blasted it, but it's there in the blogs. You can see it. You get to see search queries. And what I like here is you get to build out text ads to complement. So if your brand is out there in shopping and people start searching for blue widget, and you're like, oh, that's a good search term for us. I didn't know it was converting. I can see the conversion in a search query report from a shopping campaign. I'm going to build a text ad, because now I'm going to take the shopping at the top and I'm going to have a text ad right below it. I'm going to take a higher click share, because what happens is shopping might get you a 1.5% of the traffic on that search result. Text ad might get you 5% all by itself. If they're both there, your combined click-through rate might be closer to 10% between both ads, because there's inherent trust when they have two positions, both of them. And that shopping campaign allows you to see the search query. Expand your non-TM keywords. So non-TM, non-trademark, they're not looking for your brand. They're just looking for your products. They don't know who to buy from yet. Expand an exact match so you can control that and make sure that search query doesn't go into PMAX. I also always recommend, every time I ever talk, you need to have different goals for brand, non-brand, primarily non-brand. So people looking for your products, that's where you set your customer acquisition goal. That's where, if you've got a 50% margin, set your return on ad spend goal at 2, and let brand be off on its own. You can do a lot more controls easier in a standard shopping campaign, where you can add negative keywords in and have a brand, non-brand segmentation. Again, that's not somewhat advanced, so you'd have to be a little careful there. Agencies with Google Teams can actually add negative keywords to PMAX. Your shopping feed, you should all be testing things here. So there's one area in all of Googledom that you can keyword stuff. It is in the product type field. And this is the area where you can add brand, you can add colors, you can add just anything that you want to keyword stuff to try to show for that type of term. You can put it in there legally, doesn't impact you negatively, can only impact you positively from an impression standpoint. I always recommend testing. Put it on 2-3 of your products and see what the impression volume does compared to the rest of the account. Sometimes it'll go up, and if it goes down, you got to revert the change. But if it goes up, it would indicate that, hey, this is a valuable thing to add into my product field type. And then truncated titles. So non-TM. So a lot of brands have their brand showing first, but if I don't know who you are yet, you're taking up valuable real estate and not telling me what the product actually is or what it does. And so I always recommend removing that, your brand from the beginning, if it's not as important, and making sure that the stuff they're selling or you're selling is available in that truncated title that Google's showing. All right. I'm willing to give almost everybody an audit. I just like talking to businesses and helping them grow and adjust and make sure they don't waste money. And I'm not going to pitch you anything. I don't have to sell anything to anybody. I just want to help and make sure you're not wasting money. Woohoo, that went, where did that go? If you work with an agency, I always like to tell people this too. You should, if you're spending less than $5,000, an agency might not make sense. There are some out there that will, but sometimes there's better ways to spend your money. Ideally, working with an agency, you're spending over 10 grand a month, because that's really where the value comes in of that team working on your behalf. And this QR code takes you right to my booking page. So you can go book a half an hour with me. Whew.
Fantastic presentation. Just echoing what everyone else is saying in the chat. Just so amazing, so informative and data filled, and just an overall fantastic presentation, Ryan. So thank you so much. And before I let you go, we're going to go ahead and choose your giveaway winner today for a $75 Amazon gift card.
All
so
right.
just scrolling
I
on
must close
through.
my eyes too. Let's see.
I love that. Our winner today is Jessica Chorney. Congratulations, Jessica. You are taking home that $75 Amazon gift card, courtesy of Ryan and the Logical Position team. Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ryan. It was such a pleasure having you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, friends, I can't believe it. We are at the end of today's session. I have just one more quick note for us before I let you all go. So, if you guys enjoyed today's session, you're in luck because we love having webinars with you guys. We love being able to bring this community together and be able to chat together and share tips and tricks and insights and really help one another grow and scale. So, we have another webinar coming up on March 20th, and we would love you all to join us there. That's all going to be about AI for the modern marketer, automating your personalization, retargeting, and customer insights. We have heard so much about AI and all of the different tools that are available and all of the different tips and tricks that are available. But with so much out there, it can definitely get overwhelming. So we're here to just lay out the groundwork for you and show you how your brand can really take advantage of AI in the most efficient and effective way possible. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that link in the chat so that you guys can RSVP for this one. And we hope to see you there. And with that said, thank you so much for joining us today. If you guys have any questions about any of the speakers or the webinar or whatever it may be, or you want to learn more about Triple Whale or you just want to chat, you can reach me through email at mia@triplewhale.com, or you can also find me on LinkedIn. So let's get connected. And thank you all so much for joining us today. It was such a pleasure being your host as always, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.